friends and foes, welcome to Let's Get Nerdy. My name is Corey.
I'm Wyatt.
And we are continuing on the hype train that is Superman Summer. I guess that's what we're choosing to call it. Where we are barreling towards, every day we get closer to James Gunn's Superman and the end of the world, really. But in the meantime, we decided we're going to watch every theatrical Superman movie. We've already done 1, 2, and 3, and now, if you can believe it, we're going to 4, The Quest for Peace. And before we start breaking down the plot and talking about our thoughts about the movie as of today, I would like to see if, Wyatt, you have any history with this film.
No, I do not. I knew it was a thing. I knew it was called The Quest for Peace. That's about it. I didn't know shit about it.
That's fair.
I think maybe I had seen some screenshots from it.
Okay. My history, that's an interesting screen. Yeah, okay. I thought when you said I had seen some screenshots.
Well, I think of like a character later in the film. I had seen some screenshots.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense. But my history is, I think, a little bit, I guess, deeper, is because I did actually I watched this movie a few times as a kid and actually really liked it. This was very much a movie that, for a while, like, my mom would just put on to occupy me while she was taking care of, like, things around the house. And I when you're like 5 years old, you have the concept of like, oh, this is the one where it gets bad. Yeah. You just kind of like, Superman's fighting another fucking Superman. Yeah. And I just liked it overall. I genuinely do not think I have seen this movie in over 20 years. So there's that. And, over the course of time, you just kind of hear how this is the bad one. Yeah. And like this is the terrible Superman movie. And you don't really hear anything about 3. And I guess to start.
Please don't shart.
Well, not shart. Not on your leather couch, Wyatt, I promise.
Please don't.
But anyways, to, I guess, start sharing my thoughts on the film is I think this one's better than 3. I'm going to say that right now.
Yeah. No, I firmly agree with you.
Or at the very least, I enjoyed it more. I don't know, objectively, if you'll say it's better, but I would. I will. Okay, that's fair.
I will.
I'll
go on that limb.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I guess with that, we'll start getting to the actual movie, and we'll start getting into those thoughts, kind of to set things up. This movie premiered in July 23rd of 1987. This time it was produced by Cannon Films, a production company that specializes in low-budget, poorly scripted, and poorly acted movies. The director, Sidney Furie, F-U-R-I-E, so I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, was best known for the drama Leather Boys in 1964, and a spy movie starring Michael Caine from 1965 that I have neglected to... I did not put the title of the movie in my notes, so...
It's a mystery.
Just Google Michael Caine 65, see what comes up. If it's not 65, try bumping it up 4 years. You might find it then. Michael Caine 69. Google it. Anyways.
Yeah, that's your homework.
Fun fact before we get into it: Christopher Reeve himself, sorry, no S unless you're talking about apostrophe, was hesitant to return after he had felt 3 had actually ruined the reputation of Superman, but did agree after receiving, of course, a much larger check and more creative control. He mentioned as well that he felt the positivity and the purity of Superman would be a good counterbalance to the ultra violence of the Stallone and the Schwarzenegger films of that time as well. Which, while I don't fully disagree and I don't hate this movie, I actually do like this movie quite a bit. It's no fucking Predator. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, that is so true.
Anyways,
I hate it.
The film begins with Superman saving the crew of a Russian spaceship before uncovering the capsule that brought him to Earth and retrieving a green Kryptonian module. A recording left by his mother Laura reveals that the module's power can only be used once. He returns to Metropolis, discovering that the Daily Planet had been taken over by the tabloid tycoon David Warfield, who replaces Perry White with his daughter Lacey Warfield, who develops a crush on Clark Kent. We also kind of just set up the beginning before we get into our thoughts. We also get the return of Lex Luthor out working crushing rocks in the hot sun. Immediately reminded immediately reminding us that Gene Hackman is the fucking man, and he is rescued from prison by his ne'er do well punk rock nephew, played by John Cryer. Which, Wyatt, who does he play in the Arrowverse?
I have no idea.
Lex Luthor.
Does he?
Yes, he plays Lex Luthor. And so, after joining an expedited release program, Lex steals a strand of Superman's hair from a museum. So that's kind of all the pieces that are in place. What did you think about this beginning, Wyatt?
I liked it. It was a lot of fun. I was very happy to see Lex back because I missed Gene Hackman's name in the opening credits.
Yes.
I don't know why. I don't know if I was taking a drink or what, but I missed it. So that was really exciting to see him back.
Oh, okay. So
What?
So you said I missed it in the opening credits.
Yeah.
I thought you meant like, oh, I missed that name.
Oh no, I
Like,
just
you
fucking
just
missed
didn't
it.
see it. That's so funny. 'Cause I was like, yeah. My brain was kind of like, I guess Hackman looks cool in space, sure. Like, so hey. But anyways,
Yeah, no, I just didn't see it. For whatever reason. So I was thinking to myself, okay, is he not in this? And then boom, there he was. Loved that.
Yeah.
And
I'm not to cut you off immediately, but I also love the
immediately.
the intro of like he's whistling the Mozart.
Yes.
And the like still going like I'm not as low, or was it like you guys are beneath me with your low brains or something like that. Just immediately like immediately way more like wittier and sharper than I forget the guy who played Ross Webster, but yeah, much better than Ross Webster overall.
Something Vaughn, I think, was his name.
Anyways, I did cut you off.
You sure did. Now, so I guess to talk about Lex for a second, since I'm stuck on that topic, I know I've mentioned several times how I really enjoyed the Lex from the cartoon, the Justice League cartoon, and that's been my like definitive like this is Lex Luthor to me. This portrayal, it's kind of broken that mold for me, and I really fucking like this Lex Luthor. He's it's so much fun. I'm kind of sad that I can't remember, Otis, was that his name? His crony?
Yes.
He hasn't come back, and Ms.
Tessmacher.
Couldn't remember her name either. She wasn't back either.
No, I really missed because like I will say like some of his later scenes I don't think hit as sharply as his scenes in 1 and 2 do because he doesn't have those dynamics to play off of. Like John Cryer as his nephew I think does a fine job. Like kind of does he actually reminds me of I think Skull from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Which I know I've compared the previous trio to.
I think it's a pretty apt description.
Yeah.
Or comparison.
Which I think that was just a character stereotype of the time.
Yeah.
You know, you had like not Bill Pullman. Who was it in Terminator? Who like he's also in like Twister and Aliens. He's the game over man. Bill Paxton in Terminator playing like a punk rock dude who gets killed. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I had the notes pulled up here. It just clicked with me that John Cryer, 2.5 Men, just made that connection.
Yeah, that's what you would know him from. Yeah.
When you were asking me like, and what else was he in? I was opening my mouth to say 2.5 Men, and then you were like, the Arrowverse. Yep. No fucking idea because I didn't watch any of the Arrowverse stuff. I think I started Arrow, didn't like it.
So I really liked both Arrow. I guess we're doing Arrowverse in review now. So it's okay. It's important to say he played Lex Luthor in the Crisis of Infinity Earths event.
Okay.
He was the like Lex that was going. So he actually did interact with Smallville's Clark Kent very briefly. Cool. But I guess for Arrowverse, I really really liked the first 4 seasons of Arrow, and I liked the first 3 seasons of Flash, and they both just all of a sudden drop off really harsh in quality. Like I don't,
Damn.
I know the Arrowverse has its fans and it's it's ride or dies. I am not one of them. To quote the legendary Christopher Reeve, I do not worship at the altar of the Arrowverse.
Love it.
I
had one more thing. I did want to say I think it was cool how Superman was able just to like he just speaks like fluent Russian.
Right?
Um, he just he's just the best. He just is. He just because he speaks another language in this film too, doesn't he? Or was that in the last one?
Yeah, no. He like stops a volcano in, I'm gonna say Italy. Yeah, I'm gonna say Italy.
And he speaks Italian.
Yeah.
Fluently.
Which makes sense. Like if he's in, in the Fortress of Solitude for 12 years, I'm sure like
he was able to pick up some things.
I think part of it was like learning all of the languages of Earth.
That's true.
Which would make sense if that was actually something introduced earlier in the movies, but I think they're just like, fuck it, Superman. Anyways, I guess something I'll note here because it's just what's coming up. I also feel like the charm of Superman is back.
It is.
There's something like
yeah.
I don't know what the difference in the writing is between 3 and 4, but like Superman, like Clark and Lois' back and forth is super charming. Even like Lois kind of sticking up for Clark when like Lacey.
I think it's Lacey.
Yeah, Lacey is kind of like eyeing him, and she's like, "Hey, he's a great guy. Don't."
Don't fuck him up.
Yeah.
Don't.
But anyways, back to the plot. Superman says, "Drop dead to kid." The planet receives the Daily Planet, that is, receives a letter addressed for Superman from a child begging for Superman to rid the world of nuclear weapons. It's important. This is 1987. This is very much in the midst of nuclear, the Cold War. And this is very much playing into that. David Warfield holds a press conference for the child named Jeremy, who just wishes Superman would say yes to his wish to rid the world again of nuclear weapons. Clark laments the decision, knowing that he isn't supposed to interfere in human affairs, which, what about all the saving people? That feels like a human affair for sure, but
mildly.
Clark, things really aren't that bad in his state of indecision. He wants, oh yeah, that's right. Clark, things really aren't that bad. He says to Lois, in his state of indecision, he once again reveals his identity to Lois, who reveals not only does she remember, who reveals that she remembers everything.
Yeah.
And I just the line because he starts just walking off the roof. And she said, that's where she says, "Clark, things really aren't that bad."
that was pretty funny.
Yeah, and then we get them flying. We get another scene of them flying together. I think this will be the first time. Do they fly together in 2?
Yeah, they fly together in the first one too.
Well, I know, but I'm wondering if they had flown together in 2 because I know this is the first time since. But yeah, we get Lois and Clark or Superman flying together once again against a terrible green screen. Which that's because if you don't know, the budget for the last movie was $39 million, and you would think that would be a very low budget for a Superman movie. This budget is $17 million, so they did a lot with what they had. Which is great. Like the special effects is one of the reasons people kind of think this is one of the worst ones. I think they very much outkicked their coverage with this one. Doing with what they could. But anyways. Superman then kisses Lois once again, wiping her mind, which leads me to the question, Clark, how often are you doing this?
Yeah, that was a little bit like, that's a little icky.
Yeah.
That made me feel kind of weird.
Yeah, hey, bud, the first time we get it. What are you doing? Is this only the second time?
Like, I don't like that.
So
they could have left that out. They could have not made him wipe her mind and just kind of embraced the fact that, like, she remembers. They can maybe work towards being together.
Yeah.
Or coexist.
And he even has says the quotes are like, I can never put one over the mat. Yeah.
The mole.
Yeah.
But he still does.
He still does.
And
then wipes her memory.
Yeah. Which is just like, because if she remembers and then he wipes her memory, doesn't that feel, I don't know.
But then again, like, and I kind of feel like it's set up later that, like, I feel towards the end it's kind of alluded that she still knows.
Yeah, I don't quite understand.
Like, we'll get into that once we get to it. So Superman does finally meet Jeremy. So Lois does confide into him that he thinks no matter what he will make the right decision, taking taking care of the nuclear weapons. Superman does finally meet Jeremy, calling for a press conference stating his intention to rid the world of all nuclear weapons, to a standing ovation, which in a movie with flying aliens, that is the most unrealistic thing in the whole movie.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of nations getting together like, yeah, take our weapons for sure.
Yeah.
And then we get more terrible green screen as I actually don't even know if it's green screen because it's the 80s, so it probably just they have them like on a background. With seemingly every country just going right along with his degree as he's throwing them all into this large net. Then we get returned. The more you fear, the more fear you make, the more loot you take. Lex Baby offers to make a nuclear man using a missile and the strand of the hair that he had just previously stolen. When Lex then launches the missile with the matrix of whatever creates the man into, Superman intercepts this missile and sends the missile straight into the sun. From there, Nuclear Man is born. While Nuclear Man makes his way to Earth, I guess, what do you think about the reveal of Nuclear Man?
I think it's cool on one hand, but I also this might be one of the worst superhero movie antagonists ever.
Yeah. all he does is that's
all he does.
He really reminds me of the Ultimate Warrior back in the day.
Yeah.
So the old, notoriously like terrible wrestler because all he can do is like warrior. So.
And then he just had like weirdly long nails.
Yeah.
That were painted like gunmetal gray.
Yeah.
And then I thought he was just wearing like a one-piece bathing suit the whole time. Until like I don't know at what point, but I realized that it's like his legs and I don't know, a portion of the uniform were of like a gold or beige tone.
Skin tone.
It looked like it was like all he was wearing was like a one-piece bathing suit and then a cape, and he had very long nails.
Yeah.
It looked like he was out of a hair metal band.
Yeah, like pro wrestling hair metal band, but also like a little American Gladiators too.
Yeah.
So. And
then it looked like they had just like dubbed over his lines or something, which I think they did.
They did. So you're getting forward to my notes. So while Nuclear Man makes his way to Earth, Clark works out in a dope Adidas tracksuit. I wanted that sweatsuit so bad. It reminded me kind of not the same color scheme, but like was it Rocky IV when Rocky had like the all black Adidas with like the Italian flag colors?
Maybe.
I think that's 4. Yeah, that's 4 because 3 has all the Nike stuff for Rocky.
I don't remember that shit.
Because I just love the Rocky jumps like sweatsuit, so it doesn't matter. None of this matters. Anyway, as Clark is working out, Nuclear Man makes his presence known to Lex Luthor. He is played by Mark Pillow, who I didn't do a lot more research on, so I really couldn't tell you anything about him. But the voice, it was actually why I will pay for dinner tonight if you can guess who the voice is.
Gene Hackman. I don't know.
Buddy, I'm buying your dinner because it's Gene Hackman.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
God, I was not expecting you to get that. Shit. I'm gonna have to make some calls. No, I'm joking.
Got it.
Immediately, yes. Mark Pillow, but voiced by Gene Hackman. He immediately declares that he's in charge. Not Lex, but not before his powers go out. When you find out that anytime he is faced with darkness, he is depowered. Which seems like a really big design flaw.
He's a solar-powered superhero.
Yes.
Or supervillain.
Yes. Which, for what it's worth, there's still solar rays at night.
Yeah.
This goes back to the comic book thing, like where, the Fantastic Four was transformed by cosmic rays.
Yeah.
Cosmic rays is everywhere.
Yeah.
So that's a whole, anyways, we then cut to Lois's apartment as she prepares for a double date / interview with Superman and Clark. We cut to Lois's apartment as she and Lacey prepares for a double date / interview with Superman and Clark Kent. This results in what I thought was a fairly entertaining scene of Clark having to find ways to be both Clark and Superman at the same time. This is also where I noted I feel like they've dyed Reeves' hair impossibly black in this one.
Yeah.
But anyways, also I want to know in terms of talking about Christopher Reeve's physical appearance, over the course of the 3 Superman movies, if you notice, he continued to get just bigger because he continued to just pack on as much mass as possible for the Superman role. This one, because he had actually experienced some health issues, decided to slim down and focus on his cardio.
I thought he looked a little bit slimmer.
And I actually think he looked better for it.
He looks good. I mean, he still looks good, but I did think he looked a little bit slimmer.
Yeah. Anyways, he's no longer my hero because of that. Anyway.
God dang.
No. Anyways, while Clark is running between the roles, of Clark and Superman, he then ends up receiving a message from Lex Luthor via frequency only he can hear, similar to the first movie. You get when Superman finally happens upon Lex, you get the quote, Lex, it's common knowledge that you hate children and animals. Lex introduces Superman to his brand new rival as Lex instructs him to destroy Superman, which, Nuclear Man responds with, but first I have fun. And then the two fight across the globe as Nuclear Man causes disasters and catastrophes like setting off volcanoes or destroying the Great Wall, which that's where you get Superman stopping the lava and speaking Italian.
Yeah.
Where is the gabagool?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. I'm Italian. I think I can say that. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, and I will say this fight scene is kind of where you can see the lack of budget coming through. Like, everything else has looked pretty terrible, but this in particular, there is actually finally a meeting of the two in space, and it's just very much two men hanging on wires flailing around. And the fight ends with Superman stopping Nuclear Man from destroying the Statue of Liberty, but getting injured in the process and having to run away. And I think losing his cape on the torch, if I'm correct. Right?
Yeah.
What did you think of this fight, Wyatt?
I mean, I don't think it's great. I think the portion with them flying around the words are hard, around the globe, that wasn't my favorite thing ever. And then I don't quite understand how or why Superman was able to, like, rebuild the wall all of a sudden, the Great Wall of China.
Yeah.
Didn't really explain that. That's one of the, I feel like this series of movies, he has powers that I just don't.
They're just so ill-defined.
They're just they're just for the movie or for these series of movies. And that's one of them that I'm just like, okay.
Well, and that's why these movies, as far as Superman to the public, Superman's public reception, these movies are kind of seen have kind of ruined Superman's reputation in terms of being the boring character because he can kind of just do whatever.
Yeah.
Where in the comic books get they overpower him quite a bit as well.
Right.
But there's more parameters set. The Bruce Timm verse, however you want to put it, the animated series, and then just there's I think a little bit more of a barrier set on what he can and can't do.
Yeah.
But yeah, these. But I think they could have even just had a red blur going about the screen while the Great Wall was being rebuilt.
Yeah.
Just something a little bit more than just a static shot of all of a sudden the bricks are going back up themselves.
Yeah, it just didn't make. I don't know. It kind of pulled me out of the moment.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I don't love that. I will say I think even though they have a smaller budget, I think they did well at the takeoff when people go to fly. It doesn't seem as unnatural, I guess. Does that make sense?
3 or
as the prior films, it seems like I guess Christopher Reeve himself, he just looks a little bit more fluid when they're in the flying poses or when he's taking off to fly.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I will say I don't think the flying looks as good as 1 and 2.
I don't know. It didn't.
Just because I think 1 and 2 visually are still just are so incredible, if I can say that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I don't agree. I do agree. Like the takeout and the flying, with the backgrounds it looked worse, but I also still thought it looked. I don't know. Like I don't know.
I think it just looked better, as in like he didn't like. I don't know, like, because we pointed out in a prior.
Yeah, he wasn't doing the like, what do I do with my hands?
He wasn't like, what do I do with? He wasn't Ricky Bobbying his hands, and like he wasn't like all like his wrists weren't bent in like a weird way and shit.
Yeah.
But I thought the fight on the moon was like, I enjoyed it. It felt like they were having a hard.
Yeah.
Got that. Just that small little section. So 3, 2. I thought the fight on the moon was a fun fight. I enjoyed it. They had I don't know, they were able. God damn it.
So let me jump in here for because talking about the fight on the moon, I liked it quite a bit. It was a very slow moving fight, like lumbering is what I think you'd say, but it actually in a way reminded me of a Godzilla fight. Just like very weird, like whoa, boom, and even the at one point like Superman's like crawling away, and like Nuclear Man like grabs his head and like I think like throws it back into the moon. I was gonna say the Earth, but like grabs like a rock and is going to smash on him like Godzilla did so many times. It felt like whenever he was like, I forget who, somebody grabbed the other person's head and just went like bow into the ground a few times.
Yeah.
And it made me think of when Godzilla would just grab Ghidorah's head and just slam it into the dirt.
That's a great way to think about that.
Yeah.
And
maybe that's why we like this movie, because we've watched 30 Godzilla movies and we're like, oh, this is what a good movie is. I think, you know what? Why I'm gonna say it. Yeah. This might be my Godzilla versus the Sea Creature.
Really?
Yeah, of obviously, I think objectively this is not a great movie, but there's something that is a nostalgic enough about it and like silly enough about it that I just love it.
Okay.
So.
That's fun. I like that.
But
you know what's funny? That's the type of movie that I've watched. That's the most that I've consumed of movies in the last year.
Oh.
Is like. They're not great.
They're not great, but we love them.
But I fucking love them.
Absolutely.
So maybe that is why we do enjoy this more than other people do.
Yeah, other people watch good movies and we're just like, all right, give us more dog shit, please. Thank you. So, anyway, and so it, anyways, at one point, Nuclear Man buries Superman feet first.
In the weirdest fucking way.
In the weirdest way, just kind of like a hammer to a nail.
Yeah.
Which
if he's able to like fucking pick up the Statue of Liberty and shit, but it takes him like 4 or 5 swings to pile drive Superman into the ground.
Well, you got less gravity up here, so there's less like.
I mean, I guess that's true, but
oomph he can have.
I guess.
I'm not saying it's good, but I'm saying it's explainable. At one point, Superman. No, sorry. At this, so when he gets buried, Nuclear Man somehow manages to cover the ground from the moon all the way to the Daily Planet in a matter of seconds to snatch Lacey, who at this point in the movie has kind of had a change of heart and become more sympathetic and idealistic towards Clark and Lois's feelings. She is in the midst of scolding her father, who's trying to ruin the newspaper. Superman, as Nuclear Man takes hold of Lacey, as I've mentioned, Superman springs back to action, replants the American flag before causing a solar eclipse to defeat Nuclear Man and rescue Lacey.
That was really cool.
Yes,
I like that whole sequence. Like he gets up, bursts out of the moon, and is immediately like, plant that motherfucker back.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. This is cool. But and then he pushes the whole fucking moon.
Yeah. But I'm sure that's got to cause a lot of fucking problems.
That had to have caused so much like turmoil on Earth.
Yeah.
That's kind of important. The moon is,
We see all the shit that he undid, and the first one's starting to happen again. But yes, and it turns out. So yes, Nuclear Man's defeated and Lacey is rescued. Hooray! And then it turns out while all this has been happening, Perry White has been making deals to buy a majority of the planet's shares, Daily Planet that is, not the Earth. Superman gives a speech about unity before putting Luthor back into prison. And then we end the movie with one final shot of Christopher Reeves flying into the camera for one last time, and that is Christopher Reeves apostrophe s in this case run with Superman.
Yeah. It's a little bit bittersweet.
Bittersweet.
I think
there was a Superman 5 plan, and Superman had actually agreed. Christopher Reeves agreed to was like, I'm down for it, but we need but we need to have the budget we had for the first one, and we need to make it a good one.
Yeah.
And just eventually it just kind of didn't happen, and then obviously we know what happened with Mr. Reeve.
That is unfortunate.
Has career ruined by Eminem.
What?
You don't. So why just listen to Eminem? Eminem. You do?
Yeah.
Do you know about any of the Christopher Reeves? He has a lot of really mean Christopher Reeves comments in his lyrics.
What?
Yeah, like a lot of jokes about. He has a song.
Oh no! I don't guess I know. I loosely listen to Eminem. I listen to like the popular shit.
Yeah, that's what I was like, and okay. He doesn't do this on any of his popular songs, but he has a song where he raps as Christopher Reeve, and it's after Christopher Reeves died.
Yo,
I
don't love that.
It's terrible.
While you're looking that up, I'll say I really liked how Perry White, like that moment when he was like, actually, fuck you, this is mine now. Like I'm the majority shareholder now, so you can get your ass out of my building. That was really cool. And I also gotta say I liked Lacey. I thought she was a good character.
She was a very good character.
She had a good. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut
you.
No,
you go first.
She had a good character arc throughout this film, and I think she could have carried forward into the next movie. And also, like, was her Lana Lang was the character from the third movie?
Yes. Just gone.
Where the fuck was she? She was supposed to be his assistant, Perry White's assistant, and she's just gone. I guess she went back to Smallville. I don't know. That was odd. But yeah, I think Lacey could have carried forward into the next film had it happened. And I like that she stood up to her dad and gave a big fuck you to sensational journalism. Because fuck that shit too. But no, I thought that was cool that Perry White was like, get out of my building.
Yeah. I'm debating if I want to play this and get this video ruined, or if I just want to read you lyrics. I'm gonna read you lyrics.
Okay.
So, Eminem.
But yeah, and then so Lex Luthor's cousin, got put in the Boys Town thing too. He got hit.
Yes. Yeah.
But he was so just like, you got a drum set in there, and that was pretty much all. And he didn't fight it. He was just, okay, I'll go. And then Lex got put back in prison. And I thought it was funny, the guys in the prison yard, they were like, hey, Luthor's back. So
I'm probably gonna cut all the Christopher Reeve stuff.
Oh.
Well, cause let me see. I'm trying to find it, but because I forgot, he also has a whole song called. Oh, he has a new song called "Brand New Dance" that came out in 2024, talking about a song he didn't release about Christopher Reeves. But there's one. I'm spending too much time on this. I'll make you react to that in another.
Okay.
In another moment here.
Okay.
But yeah, so honestly, kind of wrapping up my thoughts about this is I did not hate this movie nearly as much as I thought I thought I was going to, and I did not hate it as much as I did 3. Like, I genuinely like this movie. I think it's a solid movie. I don't think, again, we've been watching a lot of bad movies that we like.
Yeah.
And this is going to be for sure, a part of that firmly. I do want to say, like, the poetic nature and epicness of the first 2 is still nowhere to be found. The production itself is terrible, but with a $17 million budget, I would say they stretched it as far as they could. Nuclear Man is terrible. I forget the guy's name already.
Mark Pillow.
Mark Pillow.
Pillow.
Yeah. Was his performance of constantly going wasn't great. What? I really think he was trying to like get his like Lou Ferrigno as the Hulk spot going.
Yeah.
I think he was like, this is gonna be my thing.
This is my thing.
And it was not.
It wasn't.
Yeah, and those are my thoughts. And I think getting Gene Hackman and Margot Kidder both back full time into their roles, I think brought enough of the chemistry in the original Magic back that I had a really good time.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll watch it ever again, but I had a good time.
That's fair. I guess like my final thoughts on the film. I really like this movie a lot. I don't know why people think it's so bad. I don't know why Rotten Tomatoes has shit on it so much, or IMDb. I whatever the fuck. IMDb. Yeah. Because Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 10%, and IMDb gave it a 3.7.
Yes.
I said in the last video I don't usually look at those because I don't really care. I'd really just form my own opinion on a movie, but no, fuck them. This is a
better than
movie.
3.
It is way better than 3. Fuck the third one. It did have. I don't think it achieved, like you said, as much charm, or it didn't have the same exact feel as the first two films, but it was definitely a step back in that direction, and it had a lot of charm in itself, just not as much as the first one. The production wasn't great, but they didn't have a big budget, so I think they did well with what they had. And I'm really glad that we've watched these movies and I've seen all of these now, because I really genuinely appreciate Christopher Reeve as Superman.
Yes.
I think he is my Superman. Like, I love Henry Cavill as Superman.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to see
David Cornsweet.
Thank you. I'm excited to see how that goes and his portrayal. But I genuinely think Christopher Reeve is my Superman.
He's just the gold standard.
He's so good, and I guess that's my biggest takeaway from watching these is I just appreciate that so much more than I had prior, because I had only seen the first two when I was a little kid, so I didn't fully remember those or appreciate the memory that I had of those.
Yeah.
So that's been my biggest takeaway from watching these.
Well, so my opinion with the Christopher Reeves one is I feel like, how do I say this? Like the one you can compare this to is Batman portrayals, where I think you could argue there's never really been a Batman that has like nailed it.
Yeah.
Where everyone's like with people with with Michael Keaton, people are like, oh, he's like a really good like Batman. Like people like Michael Keaton, and he plays like kind of an unhinged Batman. George Clooney and Val Kilmer they're in the movies that they're in, and they do as good as they could in those movies.
Yeah.
And then what's the most famous quote for Christian Bale? What does everybody say about Christian Bale's Batman?
Where are the drugs at?
No, well, that's the quote that they use. But no, I think actually the one is like, "Where's Rachel?"
Where's Rachel?
But like the quote's always, "He's a great Bruce Wayne, but a terrible Batman." I don't agree with that. I think that's just people I think it's a cop out.
Yeah.
But
I think the voice is shitty.
Yeah, the voice is shitty.
Yeah.
But my point is, like, there's not a portrayal that everyone's like, they fucking nailed it.
Yeah.
I think you cannot disagree. Like, Christopher Reeve's fucking nails of like the writing or like the powers that he's given are kind of like, all right, roll your eyes, but like,
yeah,
it's even like if you read most Superman comic books, he's designed after Christopher Reeve.
Yeah.
Almost still to this day. So. Yes, I'm a huge fan of Christopher Reeve. We'll be forever grateful that we have these movies.
Yeah. 1
and 2, I know for a fact I am going to revisit forever. Like, I'm sure 4 I'll probably put on every now and then. I don't know. Realistically, I don't know. I think this might be in like, if this was a Godzilla list, be in the section of movies that I'm like, I don't know if I'm revisiting this one. But I enjoyed it. I had a good time. This is very much, I think, the Godzilla versus Gigan of the Superman series, where I'm like, I should not have liked this, but I do.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's it.
Anyways, that's enough talking about Godzilla and Superman. I'm sure we'll find another way to talk about both of them as often as we can. Next up on the docket, we then have Superman Returns. So we're still technically within the Reeves-ish, with Brandon Routh. And then after that, we got Man of Steel. And then after that, Wyatt?
Superman.
Superman, directed by James Gunn. We're so excited. We already have our tickets. We're also we're debating if we want to get 2 tickets or we want to see it twice in one night.
Back to back, baby.
Back to back.
Same night.
Top Gun from the top. Anyways, with that, we got to get back. Please like and subscribe if you want to see all of this Superman content. Eventually, we are going to have Fantastic Four content too. We're taking where the comics take us, I think. I don't know. Thank you for watching. If you've watched all the way through, please like and subscribe to follow along. We got a bunch of other content coming your way. We already have a bunch of content waiting for you because I'm sure none of you have watched it. What? I don't know what the fuck I'm saying to you. Tell them we gotta get back to nerding out about Superman.